Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender in Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. This is the German diplomatic disaster series. Italy went to the Western Allies in November of 1939. This was a very long session. I had Monday off, and my opponent has several hours ahead of me on the clock, so we were able to play a very long session. We did 5 turns. I will probably not put all of those in this video. Probably going to cut it somewhere in the second or third turn and then do the rest of it in the next video. So I'm going to start a little timer so that I have an idea of how long I'm going, and away we will go. We are going into November of 1942. We had already rolled the weather. It's poor everywhere. And so we're going to be starting. We had already gone past declarations of war. Nobody did any, so Germans are at 24 because it's 15 minus 4 is 11 plus 1 extra factory. So, and the British are at 30 and the Russians are at 34. So here we're at strategic warfare. I rolled a 4 and the Russians rolled a 3, so I got a factory back. Yay. And then we were at +2 and he has a couple of bombed markers. He has 3 bombed markers. So he's at +5. And oh, that's us putting the bombed markers back. I'm like, why did I jump up here? And then I rolled a 5 + 2, which is a 7. And he rolled a 1 + 5, which is a 6. So I got another factory back. So a slight reprieve on the strategic warfare. Go to strategic movement, and I'm pretty sure I did something here, but I don't know what. I know the marker's way over there, so. Oh, I put it on the guy in Königsberg. He had been pushing here in the north, so I think I moved this guy, over towards the northern, trying to figure out the best place to put him, and I ended up putting him up there. And there was none for the West, and the Soviets. Not sure where he's. He's trying to figure out where he wanted to put that. It's an infantry unit, and he's just trying to figure out the best place to put it. So then we go into Axis operations. It's poor weather, so I just started up here in the north and did his northern airplane. And because we have so many sorties, it's an automatic, if you do the math, it's an automatic exchange. So just tried to limit his number of sorties that he could use his aircraft for. And I'm not sure where I'm at. Oh, I'm over here. And I moved the Yugoslav garrison into Milan. And then I think I'm coming over here and I'm moving the 6th German Army. Down here to try and keep him on the other side of the Dnieper. Called an assault, moved this German infantry there. Called an assault. I was checking my zones of control up here because I'm in danger of getting out of supply from the guys around Velaluki and in the woods here, because he cuts my zone of control up here, and he has a zone of control from this 14th Army. So I decided to take a chance here, move this guy out to there, called an assault. Another assault down here. That was my primary. Now we're resolving the assault to the south. I think we had to go to combat commitment. And neither one of us bothered to commit, because I'm all of a +2 to his +1. I rolled a 2 + 2, which is a 4. He rolled a 1 + 1 as a... So I forced him back. What did he do? I think I do the one up in the north. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, -1 for the weather, and he's a 0. And we go, I think we go to combat commitment again. And we both committed, and I went ahead. He threw a tanks, I threw a heavy artillery. So I went up by 2, he went up by 1. So it's +5 to 1. I rolled an 8, and he rolled high enough to just be flipped. I was hoping he'd roll a 1 or a 2, and I'd be able to eliminate that unit, but didn't work. So he gets... I rolled a 2 for my artillery, so it'll be back in 2 turns. Got those things out of the way. And then I decided not to do that assault in the south because I have so few points. And I'm down to 18 right now. And I wanted to save some, be able to do as many airplanes as I can, and possibly, flip over units and stuff too. And I think that's it. We're into Western operations. So here we go down to Italy, where it's poor weather. And he moves the BEF up, obviously. He thinks about it. And we flip that over. And then he assaults the infantry unit. He throws tanks. And I throw tanks. And he threw in an airplane as well. So he was 1, 2, 1 for one of the guys plus the tank. I think the BEF was the primary. And then 2 for an armored unit, so I put him up to 4. And then another 1 for the airplane, but then he was -1 for the river, 1 for the mountains, 1 for the weather. So ends up at +2. There's me doing the math. It goes all up to 5 and then comes down to 3. And I start off at 2 and I get 1 for my tank. So a +2 to a +3. He rolled a 6 + 2, which is an 8. And I rolled 5 + 3, which is an 8. So I held the ground for a turn. Moved his airplane up to there. And then he rolled a 2 -4, so I had a chance to maybe get 2 sorties on him, but I didn't. I only got 1. And then he goes again. And again, I don't roll high enough to make a difference. And he brings up his other fighter command and just runs me up because he has more points than I do to bring down aircraft. And then he moves that guy out and moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And just stopped there, getting ready for assaults next time. And I think he lets him go into low supply and does his supply here. And then we went over to the Soviets. We went back to the Western Ops because he forgot to do his bombing. He starts moving the bomber, and I tell him, no, don't move the bomber, use a bombed marker. And I'm at 4 sorties in poor weather. I can't stop him. And he had so few sorties that I just let him bomb. So he bombed 3 times. Then we go over to the Soviets. And I believe he does this. I was just showing him that he could go from one hex to the other hex. He didn't have to go around because there are different zones of control. And then he activated these guys to do his assault. I don't have anything to play anymore. So I'm a +2. I'm in woods. So he was 0 to... he was +3 -2, so he's +1 to +2. And then he called this assault in the south. He decided he wanted to try this too. And this assault is he has a tank which is +1, and another tank which gives him +2. So that's +3 -1, so it's +2 to +2 there. And he can throw an airplane in to give him a +3. So he goes +3 to +2. That's us just going through the math. So he rolled a 4 + 3, which was a 7, and I rolled a 3. So I was forced to retreat. Had to think about that, and so he went ahead and took that hex. Then he moved down this shock army and attacks with it and the guards army. He throws in a tank, and his airplane's too far away. So his guards army is 2, and the shock army adds 2. That's 4, plus 2 for isolation is 5, 6, -1 for the weather. And then he threw in heavy artillery. So we started off, he's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -1, 7, 8. And 7, 8 because of the isolation. -1 plus 7 to +2. Not good. He rolled a 4 + 7 is an 11. I only rolled a 5, which is a DD. So I lost a will point, flipped, and off to the card I go. And then he took the hex. And then I think he goes up and does this attack up in the north next. So he threw a tank on this guy up here. So we went through the math. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, -2, +2 to +2. And he rolled a 6 + 2. But I wasn't afraid of this because I can always retreat to there. So I was just hoping to get a retreat. And I actually rolled too well. I got a 7, so I couldn't retreat. So I still have this funny bulging line here that's a real pain to deal with. Then he moved the shock army up there, and I think he attacks this one. And he starts off at 0, he gets 1, 2, 3, he's added, then -2. So he's +1 to +2. He rolls a 5 + 1 is a 6. And I rolled a 5 + 2 is a 7. So and then down here, he's attacking with 3 regular infantry units, so it's 0, 1, 2. So he's +2, and then he's -3. 1 for the weather, 1 for the swamp, 1 for the river. So it's -1 to 0. And he decides not to do that. Instead, he moves the tanks army down here. And moves the guards army over here. And goes ahead and attacks the Africa army. That puts him down to 15. So he's 1 + 2 + 2. So he's 5 -1. So he's +4 net right now. So my 2. And he rolls a 6 + 4 is a 10. Well, 5 + 2 is a 7, so I'm retreated. Which is what he wanted. Just bending the German line back, forcing me back step by step. And then he moved this infantry up here to try and make sure I didn't have just a run into Kharkov. And that's us just cleaning things up. And then he moves this infantry down here to get up on the river. And that was it. Go to the no supply phase. Replacements for the Axis. I do have 18, but I also have some guys I think I need to flip and maybe something to build too. I had an infantry to build too, so I believe... I'm not sure what I did, if I just took down the airplanes. Let's see what I did. Took down 4 airplanes over there, that's 12. And then I just went ahead and did these airplanes too. And did not replenish my infantry unit there or build the new one. And in the west, he brings down his airplanes, clears off his convoys, brings down Bomber Command, and cleans up the rest of his stuff everywhere. And then Soviets, I believe they just do their airplanes and flip over their infantry unit. The Soviets did have an upgrade. Takes off an infantry unit for a guards unit. Like infantry unit he had guarding Kharkov, now it's a guards unit. And we went into mobilization. I didn't have any points left, I don't think. Oh, I had 1 point left. Oh, I spent 1 for the Yugoslavs, that's what it was. And rebuilt my garrison unit for them. The West didn't have one. The Soviets didn't have any points left to build with. And we skip through to the end of turn phase, which is just him getting a whole bunch of stuff. I got my economic reforms, so I got another factory. So now I'm up to 2 extra factories, or I should be. Why am I not up to 2 extra factories? Here I am. Okay, and then we go to watching the Russian and Western Allies boxes fill up. He got his last Urals factory, so he is now up to 9, so he can't get any more Urals. He gets partisans. And another, he got an upgrade for his tanks and some. And he got the Western, the task force. So he got a bunch of stuff. And we go into the next turn phase. I did not start my timer, so I'm going to just go with this turn next. Game turn track, weather track, player aid card. And I rolled a 1-4-1, which in December is poor, poor, and poor. So nothing changed. And then we go to he goes straight into the economy phase. He doesn't even bother with declarations of war, which could hurt you later on in the war when you have to make sure that you declare war on things that you want to invade that turn. So I'm actually up to 30 because I'm 15 minus 2, which is 13 plus 2. So I'm back up to 15. So I actually had 30 production points. I think that's going to be the high for me for the game. And then he's at 36 and 30. And so he's plus 2 to 0. He put out his partisans. So I'm halved. So 4 plus 0 is halved to 2. He rolled a 5. Plus 2, which would be a 7. He hit the attack button instead of the defender button. Doesn't matter either way. It would have been a factory. And then his partisans come back in 4 turns. And I went up a lost factory. And then we go set it to the other side. He's again up plus 5 to my plus 2. plays his ultra to pretty much guarantee that I'm not going to get anywhere. I roll 4 plus 2 is 6, half to a 3. Minimum he can get a 6, so he's going to do it. 9, and then the ultra comes back in 6 turns, so at least I won't see that for a while. And get the bound markers off. And then we're to strategic movement. I can't remember what I did with the Germans here. I know the marker's way up here in the north. Take it and I put it... Where did I put it? Oh, didn't take the unit with it. I took the Yugoslavian garrison there that I just built and put it in Antez to try and stave off some invasions because that American unit is coming. Trying to plan ahead. He didn't do anything with the west, did he? Oh, he moved his aircraft to his fleet for next turn. The Soviets, I think, go on a train ride here. Takes the guy up there in the swamp by Leningrad. And they come down to Kharkov, I think. Looks like it. Now we're into Axis operations, and this is sort of a standard thing. I can't reach his other airplane, so I have an airplane with some sorties left. Now I start moving. I bring down this infantry, trying to get that Russian infantry unit, I think. Or maybe I didn't. Nope. So I swapped positions there, and then I think, yeah, I moved the infantry up. Then I moved German infantry up to there. And then the Yugoslavian goes rolling off to Never Never Land, and I'm done. And we're into Western Ops, so we'll just stay down here in Italy, because that's where he's going to be doing most of his stuff, I think. He starts off and goes after my airplane. Basically, one sortie from each takes my airplane down. Then he attacks the Panzer with his 2 armored and throws in a surprise attack marker. And because it's assaults, he doesn't have to resolve first, so he can actually do that in that order. Something to remember. So here we're adding up. He throws in an airplane for 1. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's -1 for the rough terrain, -1 for the weather. And I'm a 3. And he rolled a 1 plus 4 is a 5. I rolled a 4 plus 7. 4 plus 3 is a 7, so that went nowhere. Then I think he went ahead and attacked here since he had the surprise attack marker. So he's 1, 2, 3. I think he throws in another airplane for 4. And then -2. Or he didn't throw in an airplane. Yes, he threw in the airplane after he did the map. He thought about it and said, nope. He's going to bring... what is he moving here? Yeah, he went ahead and did this attack first. He rolled a 5 plus 1, it was a 6. I rolled a 4 plus 2 was a 6, so I held my ground again. And I think he's moving. I always get kind of confused here with what he's doing. Okay, now he's just doing supply. Kind of what he did last time. And then he decided to come up here and do bombing. Forgot to do his bombing again. Again, he's moving his bomber rather than the bomb marker. So he comes into there, and I go ahead and try and come after him. I'm a net of -2. He's a minus ridiculous amount. So he's -2 for bomber, -2 for weather, -2 for sortie. So that's -6 plus 1 because he's British. Especially he can get to 1. I need to roll high, and I do not. So he gets through. And then so I go ahead and attack him again. And I do not roll high enough, so he gets through and bombs, but I did do some. He comes and flies again, and I said go right ahead, because I can't really stop him. It wasn't worth it. It's a 1 hex attack. And we're done with the West. And we go over to the Soviets. And now I think we see another assault coming up here. Just trying to figure out where he wanted to start. So he decides, I don't know why we keep moving that guy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So he has a, moves a tank out here. Put this guy in here. So he's getting all of his assaults set up. And now I think he's resolving on the 2nd Infantry. So he was threw in an airplane too. So he was 1 for an armored unit, +2 for a tank, +2 for these shock. Did we get that right? Yeah, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that right? What's he got here? 1. Oh, that's a guard. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 -1. So plus. It's 5 plus an airplane is 6 -1. He should be at +5, not +4. Oh, now he's at +5. And I threw in a tanks. He threw in a tanks, so. And I should have been a 3, not a 4. We added 2 for the tank. We should have only added 1. That was me restacking stuff on the turn track. I'm not sure what he's doing. I think he's trying to figure out what he wants to do next. So I moved this guy. I moved an infantry out of the way so I could put a guards unit there to attack with. Decided to change that so we can move the guards unit over there. Oops. And he moved an armored unit in here to do his attack. The Africa Army, he's got a guards unit and a tank and a tank. So right now he's at +5 -1. Right now he's at +4. So my +2. And I don't know if he throws in the airplane or not. I threw in my... Oh, I know I was 4 the last time. I threw in an airplane. And then he throws in an airplane as well, I believe. And we're too high as sorties to be able to do anything to each other, so... He ended up at a net 5, rolled a 6 plus 5, which is an 11, just ridiculously good die rolls. I rolled a 6, so I'm retreated, and now he's trapped my armor. And then he attacks trying to breach the river up here, throws in a tank. So he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 1 should be plus 4. Oh, he throws in 2 tanks. So now he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus 1, it should be plus 5. To my plus 2. Why do I have only being... Oh, minus 1 for the river, minus 1 for the weather. So he was at plus 6. 2, 4, 6, minus 2. Plus 4 to plus 2. He rolled a 9. And I rolled a 6. Plus 2 is an 8. So held my ground there. And he went ahead and attacked the Romanian. I went ahead and threw my ground supply since I'm at low supply and minus 2. Now I'm only minus 1. And he's at, starts off at 0, minus 3, I think. He rolled a 1. I rolled a 5 minus 1 is a 4. So, and I got my ground support right back. So that was that. And he said, I'm done. Going to replacements. I had a very high number worth of replacements because I wanted to build things and stuff. So I was expecting to see some more flipped units from his attacks. So I was saving points for that reason. So I take down my aircraft. Flipped over the unit in Italy, I believe. Yes. And then we go to Western. Of course, he just does his thing. He's got more than enough points to do whatever he wants. Yeah, he was already building, but it didn't really matter. We kind of went right on into building phase and forgot all about the Russians needing to do their replacements of their aircraft. So we went back and we did that. Then we got to the upgrade phase for the Soviets, and he pulled out one of his armors and put in his guard tank army. I think that's all he did. Then we went to mobilization axis, which I'd already done. Or did he come back to do a guards unit too? He did a guards unit too. So he put another guards unit out there somewhere. I'm not sure where it went. Then we go to Axis mobilization, which was me building my 2 infantry. The West built his U.S. task force. The Soviets had a bunch to build here, if I remember right. Yeah, they had like an armor and an airplane, which is 5, and a couple of infantry. So he went bazonkers here. Built his tank, built his infantry, and put his airplane in Smolensk. And that was diplomacy phase, and we go to end of turn phase. Once again, mostly just stacks of his stuff. The Germans get a ground support, so my heavy artillery and my tanks. The Russians get tanks. British get their tanks back. They get free forces. The Russian Lend-Lease goes up by 1. That goes out 6 turns. He gets a partisans back. And then we will have U.S. Variable entry. We go get the stack. Put it there. So you see there's like 3 of them. So bring this down here so you can see the roll. He rolls a 5-3-1. So the convoy comes in 5 turns. The upgrade for his tanks thingy comes in 3 turns. 2, 3 should be April. And he gets his bomber in February. Let me just get rid of that. And then we roll the weather for the next phase, and it's 1, 2, 6. Now I'm going to stop this here, even though there's 3 more turns. I'm pretty sure that I'm at my half hour, maybe even a little bit more. So there you have November and December of 1942. We will end the video here, as always. If you like my videos, please subscribe, hit that like button so it stays up on the YouTube algorithms, leave us comments about the game. We do read them. It's always nice to hear what other people's opinion are of how the game is going. And until we meet again, stay safe and bye-bye.